And we're welcoming to the Artist Insight here on NoteSpire Radio, Christian artist, singer, songwriter Doug Corum from Stoneville, North Carolina. Doug, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, real well.
Great, glad to have you on the show and looking forward to talking about all that God is doing in you, and even more importantly, through you and in your music. And first of all, hey, let's talk about where you're from. We were just talking off the microphone here. You're close to a kind of a famous town, if you will. Talk about that for a sec.
Yeah, I'm originally from Eden, North Carolina, and that's not very far from where I live now, about 9 miles. But my wife and I and our 2 daughters, we've called home here in Stoneville, North Carolina.
Right.
That's 14 years, and it's a tiny little town. We have 3 stoplights.
3 stoplights. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not uncommon to see, deer crossing in front of the post office, walking up the street.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
we love it. We love it here. It's a good town. It's a good place to raise a family. Really good town.
I feel like I need to start whistling at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're close to another town called Mount Airy, is it?
Yeah. And that's kind of the town that the Andy Griffith Show was, I guess, formatted after that town and everything. And actually, I live about 15 minutes from Martinsville Speedway. I used to go to a lot of races.
Very cool.
Years ago, when
very cool.
The greats were still driving.
Yeah. Well, Doug, we just give people a little bit of background here. I know we connected, I guess, on Facebook. I think somebody let me know about you and your music. I know you sent me some songs. We've been playing several of them on our podcast, which is the Jess Scott Music Hour each week. And we also have your music on our station, which is NoteSpire Radio, WNSMDB. And that's where people would be first hearing this interview as we're talking. And then for those of you that are wondering, what if I don't get the whole thing or whatever, this interview will be on Spreaker and iTunes later on down the road so that people can download it, stream it, whatever. So if you can't listen to the whole thing right now, folks, it's okay. We'll have it available for you later on. Doug, talk about a little bit. First of all, how long have you been in Christian music, and where'd you get started? I guess let's put it that way. And so, I'm going to throw one more question at you before we get. Now, I like to ask people because I started, though I've been a Christian since it's probably 8, 9, 10 years old. I started in secular music in junior high school, and I didn't get really into doing Christian music until in the mid '90s. Other folks that I talked to, they started right in Christian music, and that was it. How about you?
Yeah, I kind of came from that background. I've been playing and singing for about 38 years.
Okay.
I started singing as soon as I could walk, basically, and that's all. I mean, it's just always been a kind of a thing. I used to sit in a rocking chair in my mama's lap, and she'd hum a harmony note to anything, if the radio was playing or anything. And that's my first memories of ever hearing a harmony note. And that's, I think, I believe I learned how to sing a harmony note is hearing that.
Cool.
It's just been with it that long. But I started, had a gentleman, he was kind of a close friend of the family, and he was sort of, I guess, watched after my mom after her dad had died. And he taught me how to play a ukulele one afternoon while my parents were going to a funeral service. They got back, and I could play Birmingham Jail. I could play 3 chords on it. So I started playing on a ukulele, and then that quickly transferred over to a guitar when I was barely big enough to hold a guitar. And I was just playing and singing anywhere and everywhere that I could, as a kid and growing up. And then played in high school. I sang a lot through high school and choral programs. Dwayne Best was my choral director, and I mean, just one of the most awesome mentors of music. It's such an awesome influence on me in life and music, and carried on through. And then I played a lot of bars and honky tonks and bad places that I'm not too proud of.
My hands up on that one too, Doug. Yeah.
And in 2002, I went out to Los Angeles. I have an aunt and uncle that live out there, and recorded a demo and came back to Nashville. And I said, well, I'm going to Nashville, and I'm going to just work hard until I make it, whatever make it means. And that didn't go so well. And I came back home and kept playing here at honky tonks and bars and stuff, and for a while there. And then that's kind of, my wife and I got married in 2003, and I led worship in a Wesleyan church. I was a worship leader, and I always said I was impersonating a worship leader because I was always a gospel singer.
Okay.
And they called me a Wesley Costals in the Wesleyan church because I always had that spirited kind of singing. I could just feel it. And it was about 14 years there, and then the Lord just led us to a non-denominational church. And that led to us starting Rain and Fire Ministries. My pastor, Joshua Patterson, his wife, Wendy Patterson, and we've had Rain and Fire Ministries as an outreach ministry extension of our church for about 3.5 years. So that's a real quick timeline. I mean, it was a lot of years in that, but that's kind of a hop and a skip to where I'm at now, I guess.
Yeah. Have you always been a solo artist, or were you with different bands and things?
Well, I was a lead singer for a variety band. I've pretty much kind of been the singer. I've done some acoustic trios and things like that over the years, but pretty much, I was a lead singer, and I graduated from Appalachian State University, and when I was in school there, I sang a lot. I worked for a lady doing karaoke and DJing, and so we did a lot of stuff during the week there, and I traveled home on weekends from Boone, North Carolina, and did music on the weekends as well. So music was good to me then.
Yeah,
helped keep me fed, and stuff like that in college. So,
and that is a lot of people would like to be kept fed, at least partially fed with their music, and a lot of people don't have that to happen. We're going to get to one of your songs here. We've got 3 songs lined up, folks, from Doug. We're going to be enjoying and being blessed by during our time together. I think maybe we'll just get to one right now, and then we'll take a quick break after that. But one song that really just kind of hits hard, I think, I'll say it that way, is "Don't Let the Devil Ride." Yeah. And boy, there's a message there, and I love the way you put it, Doug. And so talk just a little bit about that song, and then we're going to play that. Well,
when I was picking songs, and I was just wanting to stay kind of familiar, but a little bit obscure with songs. And my pastor actually he was the first person to run across the song, and we just kind of liked some of the rhythm in it, which we actually arranged it with a different rhythm.
Right.
But it was kind of a joke. And actually, "Don't Let the Devil Ride" was probably the last. It was like number 10 of the songs to make it onto this record, because I felt like it was kind of novelty, and people might not would take it seriously enough. And just kind of working the arrangement, and I wrote kind of like a bridge verse into it. When the devil starts talking all over town, nothing but trifling slander to run your name in the ground.
Yeah, right.
And it was like you'd hear so much division in churches and things going on, and that verse just gave me that verse. And I think it makes a good point, when I do sing it out in churches, and I think you see people think about that. It's a little deeper, than just the devil always at our heels. It can be subtle things as well. They can be problems. He's the master of lies. So,
father of lies is for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was going to say we'll play the song here, and then we'll come back. But the song, it starts out a little bit. What's the word? Not really tongue-in-cheek, but it's got a little bit of a light, not really humorous, but I can't think of the word here. but the message goes really deep.
Yeah.
And you just put so much, I mean, this and all the songs that I've heard that you've recorded, you just put everything into it. And I really appreciate that as an artist. So here we go, folks, with Doug Corum and "Don't Let the Devil Ride" here on WNSMDB NoteSpire Radio.
let him ride. Don't let him drive your car. Don't let him drive your car. 'Cause if he drives your car, he'll take you too far. Don't let him ride.
Okay, and we're back with Doug Corum and Don't Let the Devil Ride. Wow, that you just, like I said, Doug, you put everything into that song, and the message comes through loud and clear. You were going to say something about the song there before we played it.
Well, it was kind of ironic. It was the last song that was like, yeah, we'll go with this. We're going to record this. And then it was really the first song that, had radio, any kind of radio promotion,
right,
to get it out to radio. And I guess it was really the first song that anybody, anyone had ever heard me, begin to hear me. And that was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of different because I knew I had a different sound.
Yes.
Than what traditionally,
that's
here,
sure,
and I think that song in particular kind of, I don't know if it accents that different, real different sound. I feel like I bring, and I mean, this is just the way I've always sang. It's not anything that I had to change, or I guess it adapted as you just years gaining experience. You just sort of develop more of a kind of a signature sound.
Yes, and you have that. Yeah. You definitely have that, and I like it. It's refreshing. It's different, in a good way, of course, and it really your style of singing and the arrangement of the songs really drives the point home. They complement each other very well. Doug, we're going to take a real quick pause for a break, and we'll be right back with Doug Corum. Doug, let's talk about Winds of This World. This is another song that's got a great message to it, as all of your songs do. Where did this one come from?
Well, it was just kind of searching in songs here and there, and just if songs they have to minister to me, and that's why I really don't put myself particularly in any subgenre of gospel music.
Right.
If it ministers to me, I sing it, because I feel like I can use that song to minister to somebody else.
That's good. Yeah.
And so this is just one of those songs I love it. I love every song on this record. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably my favorite vocal idea because it has so many dynamics and it's so rhythmic. I love the rhythm. Richard Putnam, he was phenomenal and making all this happen and kind of co-producing everything. And just a great keyboard organ. Man, he's an awesome musician. But I had several, versions I'd listened to, and Jeremiah Yoakum, he does a great version of things. But I was heading out the door to work one morning, and I'd just been thinking about these songs because I arranged all 10 of these songs.
Right. Okay.
And the Lord gave me the arrangement of, the rhythm break, the end break of the song going out. Mm-hmm. And I stopped. I looked at my wife and I told her, I kind of just spouted it out real quickly, and I grabbed a tablet and I wrote it down. I knew I better write it down. In my head right then.
You got it.
And so I wrote it down, and I guess it was about 2 months later, I was actually able, I was in the studio and making my very first record and recorded it. And after everything, was said and done, we finished the record and everything was mastered. That song just had a special feeling to it. And I love singing devil chasing, music. I love that type of thing. It's fun sometimes. And just I sing in the spirit. I've had a great mentor. Charles Scarlett has been he was just a godsend as a brother in Christ and as a mentor. And we sing hard, and that's kind of where our praise comes from because we know where the Lord found us.
Amen.
And that's really why. The least I can do is give him my best effort.
There you go.
In each song, and that's the way Charles. That's the way he sings, and it's just kind of it becomes just a way of singing and how you try to approach everything. I may not do well, but I'm gonna give it my best effort.
Yeah,
and, not about the wins and losses. It's really about just give me best effort, and God shows up. Then, little as much when God is involved.
That's a good way to put it. Good way to put it. And all right, so here we are with Winds of This World. Here is our friend Doug Corum here on NoteSpire Radio.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side when I hear the thunder roll. He holds my hand when I begin to tremble, when the winds of this world is blowing strong. I know that Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side when I hear the thunder roll. He holds my hand when I begin to tremble, when the winds of this world is blowing strong. But now Jesus is a fence around his children. His grace, it is sufficient to stand the storm. And his word is a promise you can lean on when the winds of this world is blowing strong. I know that Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side when I hear the thunder roll. He holds my hand when I begin to tremble, when the winds of this world is blowing strong. Now Satan is roaming to and fro throughout the land. He's seeking whom he may devour. But the devil was defeated on a hill called Golgotha, that day when Jesus made him out alive. I know that Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side when I hear the thunder roll. He holds my hand when I begin to tremble, when the winds of this world is blowing strong. And now, church, if you're caught out in the winds of the world with no joy in your life at all, just give your heart to Jesus, and he will understand you, and he will never let you fall. hear the thunder roll. He holds my hand when I began to tremble, when the winds of this world is blowing strong. Well, he picked me up, turned me around, he placed my feet on a higher ground. If you don't believe I've been redeemed, follow me down to that Jordan stream. I stepped in the water was cold, chilled my body but not my soul. Wish I could have been there when I broke through, the day I met Jesus and the Holy Ghost too. Well, Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather, he's standing by my side when I hear the thunder roll. He holds my hand when I began to tremble, when the winds of this world is blowing strong. I know that Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side when I hear the thunder roll. He holds my hand when I began to tremble, when the winds of this world is blowing strong.
And we're back with Doug Corum on NoteSpire Radio, Artist Insight. Again, Doug, great stuff. What's the title of the CD? We haven't mentioned that these songs are on.
It's called Jesus is With Me.
Jesus is With Me, okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a title track. Most people, that's how they know that song is Jesus is With Me rather than the winds of this world.
Yeah.
I even learned that, in selecting songs. I didn't know that until, we were looking at titles. It was always Jesus is With Me when we were, going through and arranging and, that kind of thing and recording.
I like that. And I just
like it. Yeah.
Right,
I mean, it never changed really. That was pretty much it on the title of this record. It was like, Jesus is with me. And I mean, that was it. It was just, boom. It was probably one of the easiest things of the whole process. It's a process.
And it's a process, yeah.
Not knowing things, but that was probably one of the easiest things. And then even, I guess, the order of the songs, I mean, they almost just put themselves together in order.
Really?
It was amazing. We sat there, and Van Atkins at Crossroads, he was awesome as far as sound engineer and mastering everything.
Right.
And it was just like they were already laid out almost in a record. And so I was just grateful, and you know God's in it. When he can just take and it's seamless and they roll through there.
Right.
I just felt such a powerful anointing. The day I recorded, did my vocals there.
And where did you?
Crossroads.
Yeah. That's true, right? You know God's in it. You just know. Where did you Where did you record this, Doug?
Well, it was kind of I guess by combined resources of Big Feet Productions in Shelby, North Carolina, and that's Richard Putnam.
Okay.
And that's where we did like all the tracking and everything.
Right.
And this Richard is phenomenal. He is, but this is kind of a me thing. I have a pretty good range and just kind of a cutting type of range.
Yeah.
And I was getting kind of some distorted places in it, and so I wanted to shot at re-recording my vocals, and so I contacted Jeff Collins at Crossroads, and they're usually 3 months booked up, and 2 weeks later I'm standing there in studio, and I mean I've spent everything I had, and it was kind of tight for money there, and I knew my back was against the wall, but actually I walked in there and God was with me. I sang all 10 of those, recorded all 10 of those in 1 7-hour studio day.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It wasn't me. I mean, that was, when I first stepped in the sound booth, I met Van, and first song I did was Can't Nobody Do Me Like Jesus.
Yeah.
And I came out, and Van, he kind of looked at me and he said, we got a lot of work to do. Get back in there. Let's go. And he was the best coach all day. I mean, he really just kept you ready on the edge, and we had a great day.
Awesome.
I will never forget that. And
awesome.
Real quickly, at the time, and really responsible for bringing me into a real fire, spirit-filled church. It was my pastor, Gary Grubbs, at the time, and he'd been ill. He used to get me into bars and honky-tonks to play when I was 13, 14.
Oh, yeah?
And then he turned his life around and preached and led so many people to the Lord. And
amen.
that's where I was in his church, but his funeral was on that day, and I knew he would say, "No, you get up there and you go record these today." And so that was very special. I had that going on with me that day, and I had so many trials and everything going on in my life too. And I don't know if I've ever felt like my back was against the wall any more than during that time. And I've got to stand right here. And God stood for me so huge in that time.
God. Amen.
He did. Thank you.
Wow.
Amen.
Yeah. Could you talk at the end of the day?
Yeah, I drove 3 hours to Asheville and recorded all day. And then when I left, I was completely physically like exhausted. Yeah. But just the spirit, was just
energized.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
I drove all the way home, and I don't think I ever turned the radio on or anything. It was just like, it was just one of those experiences. It was surreal. Awesome. It really was. And I guess at that point you say, I'm just excited to see what God's going to do with this, because I know he just finished his record, and I was praising for letting me sing on it. And that day was, it was one of the most outstanding days as far as music goes. I will never forget it. I don't know if I'll ever have another one like it. Yeah. But praise God, I had that.
You had that one.
It was just something very special.
Doug, I like what you just said, and I can't remember your words, even though it was only 10 seconds ago. But
I probably can't either.
That's okay. That it was God's songs, God's record, and he let you sing it.
Yeah,
I love that.
Sing on his record.
I think.
Well, that was a mindset I wanted to have. Yeah, all the way. I mean, it's not about me. It's not about anything I'm going to say, do, whatever. It's about the Lord Jesus Christ and the finished work of the cross, and that's that's a message we want to get across. And with song selection and everything, I didn't want this just to be some record that somebody give me a few bucks, and because it was me, and then it ends up over on a stack of everybody else's record. I wanted this record to minister to people and be something that you put in your car and you take off driving wherever, or you get up in the morning, it's a gloomy morning, you want to feel the spirit, and you're going on your way to work and get the day going. Yeah. That was kind of the vision God was giving me in making this. And unfortunately, I've had, I think, 2 or 3 folks come back and tell me that they actually got speeding tickets. I listened to my CD after they bought it. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm not responsible.
No, you're not. Yeah.
Holy Ghost, that's responsible for that.
Yeah. That's between you and the Lord.
Yes.
I want to say to our listeners, I want to emphasize to our listeners, especially those who are Christian musicians, that is a great attitude that we all should have. This is God's music, and he is allowing us, and he's asking us even. I want to emphasize that. He's asking us, for those of us who may have a little hesitation here or there, a little doubt, a little discouragement. We're going to get to those things in just a few minutes. We'll come back to that, but this is God's music. These are God's gifts, and he asks us and gives us the privilege and the honor and the responsibility, if you will, to use them. Doug, we're going to take a quick break here, and we are going to come back, and we have another song that one of my favorites of yours, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, and we will be right back. Okay, Doug, we are back, and talk just a little bit. We're going to come to that song we were talking about, but give us a little the family situation. You said you're married and have a couple kids. You want to tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, my wife Vicki and I, we've been married for 15 years, and she's put up with me that long.
No way.
Yeah, she has. And I guess, early on into our marriage, we adopted. We set out to adopt one, and one we ended up with 2, and that's really a lot more than 100% more. It's like 200% more when you have 2, and two very, very, very young children. Because our youngest daughter Brooke, she was 20 months old, and our oldest daughter Bree, she was like a couple of weeks shy of being 4. Okay, and so they were like half biological siblings, and they'd come from a really really regretful situation. It was a bad situation, and I think my wife and I we've kind of reflected back on it. It's not about us, but we felt like this was something that we could do that would have an impact on another human being. We didn't know of anything else we could really do that could have that kind of impact on their life. Yeah. And just their bringing and just knowing that they know the Lord and they love the Lord. Yeah. And no matter where they go, what's going on, they know where to come back to. You know, they have that foundation to come back to. And I mean, it was a struggle. I mean, our oldest daughter, she's graduating this year from high school.
Wonderful.
And so they're 17 and 15. And our youngest daughter, Brooke, honestly, she's had a lot, emotional issues she dealt with, and coming up, and that's just some of the trials in my life that brought me to the relationship that I have today with the Lord.
With the Lord,
the trials that almost broke me, made me, made me, who I am in the Lord today, and I wouldn't change anything for a single one. As hard as things get, I've never had a true regret in doing that. It's a blessing when I hear them call me daddy, and I hear them talk to their mom. But I'm glad they're getting on up. Teenage,
right,
years, it's good. And wife and I, we try to do a little more than we used to. I mean, selling, it's kids, and first it was kids in church, and that's what we did.
Right.
But they're getting older and a little more responsible, and we just kind of lately it seems like we've been I don't know, it's kind of rekindled and like we're dating again.
That is good. Saying. Oh, so it's glad to hear that, Doug.
It really is. I love my wife.
Yeah. Adoption is a subject dear to my heart because I was adopted myself and I was only about a year and a half old when I was adopted by wonderful Christian parents. I grew up an only child, although I have a brother and sister. And I say this on this podcast because I'm hoping someday I will meet them. Somebody will hear and say, "Oh yeah," but I have a brother and sister who were adopted separately, and I don't know who they are, because their names were obviously changed back in. We're talking in the 50s, so everything's sealed up, hush hush. But so adoption is a topic dear to my heart, and another Artist Insight interview that I did with another artist lately that was adopted has adopted. But so it's a great thing, and God bless you for doing that. And I tell you, you don't know what where would I be? I don't know where I would be if I had not been adopted by wonderful Christian parents who took me to Sunday school and church and things. So we just don't know. We trust God's plan, and He blesses us and blesses them, and Well, Doug, could we get to another song here?
Oh, sure.
I love this because the topic of this song, and I guess I don't want to say too much about it. I'll let you do it, but I'll tell you, it touched my heart the first time I heard it, and I thought of a few other people. The first time I heard this song, I thought of a few other people that I hoped could hear it and be blessed by it as well. It's okay to cry. We don't have to be strong all the time. And so I'm going to leave it right there, Doug. You say a few words about it, and then we will play the song.
Yeah, well, the song is Sometimes I Cry. Gerald Crabb wrote this song, and, of course, Jason Crabb, probably one of the most phenomenal singers on the planet. He'd recorded this song, but he does a slowed down version. But initially, the radio version song was more up tempo, and this is a song that it's really two different songs. When the tempo changes, the song so much, and I always wanted the very kind of a slower tempo to it, and just some things that Richard Putnam and I were kind of bouncing around. We were arranging this song, but so many times I just sit in my garage and listen to the song and sing it and listen to it over and over and over, just depending on what was going on. And I've cried because I felt so good and so close to the Lord, and I've cried sad tears at the same time, where I just felt like I wasn't enough, and I don't know how God could even think about using someone like me. Just felt unworthy, and just that unworthiness just brings you to tears. But I'm telling my wife, it feels like, and as a gentleman, we were actually had a ministry event. We were out Saturday night and playing for a church. It was actually a dinner function, and I met the man that came up and asked me to pray with him, and that was kind of one of the things that he had mentioned. And we were both standing there in tears, and as the older I get, the more I cry. And we thought of it and said, well, that's a good thing, though, because that heart's not hardening as we get older.
It's softening, yes.
It's softening. It is, and that's the way we all, we really need to be turning and going. That we'll see people the way Jesus sees them, and then we'll have compassion like he has for us.
Right.
And it's just a very special song. Ingrid Sadler does the harmony vocal in it, and she's awesome. She's a phenomenal singer, and it was just this was the first song I knew I was going to record.
Was it? Okay.
This was it. Yep. I mean, I walked in and I knew this one was going to be recorded. I just spent so much time, and it just, I don't know, I think it just opened doors inside of me that things that needed to heal or things that just sort of needed to be let go. I don't know, I could listen to the song, and it was just a lot of healing in it, and it was okay. Sometimes alone I cry, and it's okay.
Yeah.
If I just want to sit and I cry out to Jesus and say, help me, or if I just cry out to Jesus and say, thank you. I can't thank you enough. And so many times that song, it's worked kind of both ways. I never know what I'm going to be going through, and it hits me one way or the other. But
the other,
I see so many people that it relates with when I sing it out in churches. Or I probably have as many people ask me to sing that one, maybe Isaac, as any songs that I do. And I think that's why people can really relate to that song as a Christian in this day and age. It's not that everything's going to be perfect. We have some really hard times and some really bad days, and I think this really speaks to that.
It really does. Let's be blessed by this song. And friends, as you listen to this song, especially if you haven't heard it before, I pray that this song will touch your heart and let you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Here's Doug Corum with Sometimes I Cry on NoteSpire Radio.
Blend in with the rest of the church crowd. I know the routine. I can list all the Bible studies in town. Watch Christian TV. I know all the preachers and their cliches. I've been born again. Without a doubt, I know I'm saved. But sometimes I hurt, and sometimes I cry, and sometimes I can't get it right, no matter how hard that I seem to try. Sometimes I fall down, stumble over my own disguise. Well, I try to look strong as the whole world looks on, but sometimes alone I cry. I try to speak faith, never give that old devil not even an inch to get in. I do worship and praise, let everybody know just where that I stand. And on the back of my old four-wheel drive Chevy, there's a fish and a cross for the world to see. 'Cause I know my God is good all the time. Yes, there's no doubt for me. Oh, but sometimes I hurt, and sometimes I cry, and sometimes I can't get it right, no matter how hard that I seem to try. Sometimes I fall down and I stumble over my own disguise. Well, I try to look strong as the whole world looks on, but sometimes alone I cry. Try to look strong as the whole world looks on, but sometimes alone I cry. Well, I try to look strong as the whole world looks on. The truth is, sometimes alone I cry.
And we're back with Doug Corum and a song that just, wow, it lets us know, sometimes I cry. And sometimes we just don't want people to know that, do we, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We always try to put on a smile, and you never know when somebody's just smiling through so much pain. I mean, on the inside, they're just torn to pieces, but yet they just smile and keep going, and that's me. That's me a lot of times.
Me too.
These trials, I've carried so many things, and sometimes at the end of the day, when we just kind of can get home and maybe just hide out a little bit and sort of take off that mask that you have to hide behind some days, and just keep going, and you can just say, "Here, Jesus, this is yours, and take this from me, and just get me back to where you'd have me to be." And I really think it's such a powerful message in that song. Yeah. It is.
I think for me, I get to those points where the tears come for whatever reason, and then I feel like a failure because the tears have come. And it just leads to more discouragement and more tears because I feel so often like, oh, I'm not supposed to feel down. I'm not supposed to feel discouraged. I'm not supposed to, when it's a negative thing. I'm saying, there's other time when the tears are tears of joy and we're just tears that we're just feeling the Spirit. That's not what I'm talking about. But I get so down sometimes, and I just think that maybe I'm hoping that somebody that is listening will realize, oh, you know what? It's okay. All right.
That's right. Yeah, there's always hope. There's hope in the Lord Jesus Christ. That's where hope is at. And when we're out with Rain and Fire Ministries, I mean, that's just a common theme. Pastor Joshua Patterson, he can preach up a storm. He can. But, our message is, you still have hope, in the Lord Jesus Christ and the finished work of the cross. Hope will always be here.
Yeah.
Of course, until he comes back.
Yeah. Doug, we'll take a quick break here, and we're going to come back and talk about a little advice for maybe some other artists, and maybe that topic might be one we want to touch on, or something. We'll talk about giving some advice to some other artists that are.
Can I get some? Is what I thought.
Can you get some? That's okay.
Yeah, I'll take a double helping if you.
Sorry. Yeah, I hear you, Doug. I hear you. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with Doug Corum on the NoteSpire Radio Artist Insights, and Doug, thank you, so much for sharing this music that we've enjoyed and been blessed by 3 different songs from your CD, Jesus Is With Me. Let's touch real quick in case people have to go, or we'll do it again later, but where can people find you and your music?
Well, they can find me in Stoneville, North Carolina.
Okay.
When I'm not traveling in there. But
which red light are you, of the 3 red lights, are you near? Any of them?
Well, not really.
Not really. Okay.
Yeah, we live in a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it. We just go around in a circle. We never make it out of here.
You never make it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But and I travel anywhere that the Lord opens door.
Mm-hmm.
And,
amen.
And so, I mean, I'm always, my phone. Let it ring. I mean, I'm always looking to try to fill my calendar. And I like to stay busy. And the devil, he's going to come at our heels, but I'd much rather him have to chase me than me be sitting there with a bullseye on me.
Exactly,
I love meeting people, and I love going to different kinds of churches, because what I see is how much we are alike. Various churches. I go to a non-denominational church, and I love that, but everybody is so much more alike than they are really different.
Right.
It's just different worship styles and things like that.
That's right.
You learn a lot. It's really good. But my music is on iTunes and Spotify and CD Baby. It's
Amazon.
Pretty much, I'm
everywhere.
It's on all of the, media outlets.
Wherever great music is streamed and downloaded. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
They're going to find you. And your website, Doug?
It's DougCorummusic.com.
Okay. All right.
Marcy Gray. Yeah,
we'll mention that again. And when we have this on our website for the NoteSpire Music, the Artist Insight page, we will have links to your website, et cetera, et cetera. So, hey, Doug, let's talk a little bit about advice for other artists. And I'm just going to say things that maybe something that it kind of jumps out at you that you've struggled with coming along, whether it was first starting out or something that you continually struggle with. What would you say?
There's no question. Number one, with a star beside of it, is like self-promotion. And I've been to so many things, and you hear, you are your best promoter. You know yourself better. I just don't do well with that. I mean, I really, really focus on trying to stay humble. Yeah. And I think it's kind of, as Christian artists, you sort of have that microscope that you're under.
Yeah.
Folks are looking at that, and he's like, is this about you or is this about Jesus?
Yeah.
And so I really, really try hard, to stay humble and hungry, and really, after it. But at the same time, that's why I just cringe making any kind of calls or contacts as far as booking, because I always feel like I had the same conversation no matter what. I could write a script, and I hang up and I feel like, it was, not the conversation I wanted to have, and that I was blowing my own horn, and just trying to say.
Doug, I can see our listeners. I can see half of our listeners right now. Their heads are nodding in agreement with you. Yeah. It's like
that's hard.
That is hard. My hand's going up too. Both of my hands are going up because I can't. I don't do it well either. I really don't.
Yeah. And we work and we don't have a large family at all. I mean, it's my mom and dad. It's pretty much all I have in family is surviving. And so it's kind of hard finding people that and they have time and you trust and are confident to make these kind of calls that they maybe or know how to schedule in a logistically good way, that you're not in Tennessee tonight and in Georgia the next night and back in whatever state. And so that's Faith Promotions has actually started to handle some of my scheduling this week. Actually, it's come about.
Now, what's that again?
And it's Faith Promotions, and they have a Facebook page, and I'm just actually learning my way around with a lot of that. But I think they're going to be a great resource. FAITH, Faith.
Oh, Faith. Okay.
Faith Promotions.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that is the page. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, and
we'll put a link on the page to that. Okay. And
it's Kat Christopher. This lady, she reached out to me, and we spoke, and we've messaged and we spoke, and she really just has a passion for kind of helping Christian artists, and she's been around for a pretty good while in some capacity with helping promote music or scheduling, booking, that kind of thing. And she sounded pretty knowledgeable, and I think she's doing it for the right reasons, and that was a lot of what I said. Well, we'll go with this and just see how things work out. There's never any guarantees in anything.
Right.
That's it. If God opens doors, we'll go, and we will go with a message of hope. And Rain and Fire Ministries, it's a soul winning ministry. That's really what we started out with. Myself and Pastor Josh Patterson and his wife Wendy. We were going to like men's addiction mission programs for homeless addicts and preaching and singing, and we were seeing people. God was saving people. The blood was saving people, and it just kind of got contagious. And so we were going more, and then he became the senior pastor of our church, and so they kind of settled there, with our home church a lot more. And I just said, look, I'm going to keep this going, as long and as far as the Lord wants to carry it. And so that's why it's Doug Corum Music and Brain and Fire Ministries. And we want to fly that banner for Jesus, and we want to hold on to that. Amen. And we've seen him work just miracles through it, and it's been a really good thing. We're very, very grateful he gave us that ministry. Yeah.
We talk a lot. I'll throw this one out at you. The comparing yourselves to others. I'm going to throw that one at you. Give me your brief thoughts on that.
Comparing ourselves as far as artists. Make sure I'll answer this right.
Okay. We can easily get caught in what I like to call the comparison trap.
Yeah.
And everybody else is better than we are, or whatever. Or sometimes it's even goes the other way.
Yeah.
And the pride kicks in, and the humility goes out the window, and that's not good either. Any advice for people that might struggle with that?
Be true to yourself. I mean, that's it. And that's why I sing the way I sing, and this is the way I've always sang. Nothing's changed.
Yep.
I didn't kind of go through this era or that era where my sound really changed a lot. No, this is how I always sang. And when I really got into doing more gospel and Christian country type of music later on, I just applied that sound to that style of music.
Yep.
It really didn't. I didn't adapt to it as much as well. I just took my sound and placed it over there on the songs in that style.
Yeah.
And I enjoy a lot of it. I mean, a lot of the I don't know, the blues kind of stuff just seems to be in my wheelhouse, and it's kind of it's very familiar to me. And comes my mentor Charles, he said, that's just kind of my area that I probably just have a strength in, and kind of some of the ballads. And with Charles and kind of comparison, we contrast big time. We do. He's like one of the greatest. I think he's probably the greatest gospel singer that I know.
Wow.
As far as a country gospel style and some of the older traditional type, really good at, and that's how we contrast, a lot when we have opportunity to actually sing together and minister together out at some churches. We get together every now and then. We've done some benefits lately. He sings with a group called Covenant now, and they're just an awesome group, and I think they're recording another record right now. I love Brother Charles. Charles Scarlett's been he's been good to me, and he could have picked so many people. He could have picked anybody really to try to help him out. And actually, the day I got a message from him, I thought somebody was playing a joke on me, because it says Charles, call me, and I said I'm gonna try it. And I called him, and it was Charles, and we met like a day or so later and sat down and talked for about an hour and a half, and we never talked about songs or music. We talked about life and what we believed and our families and just what, I guess, motivated and where was our drive and what really drove us to keep going, keep pushing, and keep pressing. And it was just a really awesome conversation. And he took me out on the road for the first time. We did 1,200 miles in one weekend through Alabama and South Carolina and back to North Carolina.
Wow. Yeah.
That was an awesome weekend.
I bet it was. Wow. So he's kind of a mentor to you. We've had it.
Yes, absolutely.
We did a podcast and a video on mentoring and coaching and things, and how important that is to find. And as you said, you met with him, and you didn't just talk about music. You talk about life. That's what a good mentor is. Not just telling you what songs to play or how to play them. A good mentor comes alongside and helps you be all that you can be in every area. The whole person, so to speak. Yeah. Well, Doug, we are just about out of time, but any final thoughts? DougCorumMusic.com?
Yes, and Doug Corum Music on Facebook as well, and Rain and Fire Outreach Ministries on Facebook page. It's all these pages. But I don't know. I'd love to come sing at your church is what's on my mind right now. I'm supposed to stay busy.
Right.
And I'd love for everybody maybe, buy a song or two or something on iTunes. I don't think I've had like that many downloads on iTunes, but I think a lot of it's just people not knowing it's there or haven't come across it. And, that's the thing that I kind of like so much. I mean, I am a absolute nobody underdog from a 3-stoplight town in North Carolina. and here I'm having this radio interview right now. That's God's glory.
That is God.
He loves. I tell you, He loves impossibilities, and I'm probably the most unlikely person that you will ever see from my background and where He had to find me and what He had to do to turn my life around. I'm one of the most unlikely people that you're going to see up there. And Charles, I mean, all of us, that's kind of, we have a lot of that in common. And that's what drives us is, we know what He's done for us, and we just want to try to do anything that we can just to let Him know how much we appreciate that. And serving the Lord is a joy.
It is.
It really is.
It should be. And we have our ups and downs, we have our trials, but the joy should be there. And when we're doing, I think when we're in the center of God's will, doing what He wants us to do, there may be some trials and tribulations. There always will be, but that joy, is there. It's always there. Yeah. Well, friends, listen, check Doug out on iTunes or wherever. As we said, wherever great music is streamed and downloaded. Check out Doug's website at dougcorummusic.com. Doug, we're going to continue to play your music, both on the Just Got Music Hour podcast that we do each week, and you're a regular on NoteSpire Radio, and we do whatever we can to help you get your music out there. But friends, remember that Doug is looking; he's available to come to your church or wherever, and so give him a call, give him a shout, give him an email. And you really would be blessed by having Doug come and share his music at your church or wherever. Yeah, or whatever. Like you said, Doug, wherever God opens a door, right?
That's it. We try to go through it. Well, we go through every one that He's opened. Right. So far, I don't know if any church or any type of situation that's come about that we hadn't. And that was one thing Charles just instilled in me. He said, you go, whether you're sick, whatever's going on. Right. You keep pressing, you go. And he really does that. Admire him for that and the way He's done. And I just want to thank you, Paul, just for this opportunity. I guess just for folks to finally, hear the music that God has given you. Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been sort of longing, just wanting people just to be, that's every hour. So I just want to be heard. And this is such a great platform for that folks hear your music and hear what you're about, what your ministry is about, and where it's grounded, where it comes from. Where the songs come from when you sing them. And I think it's so important. And I just appreciate this opportunity to talk a little bit, about the music and because I live what I sing. I mean, I live what I sing, and that's what I think I want people to know, about me. That is
that is very, very important. And Doug, it's our pleasure and our honor to help you and you and artists like you to get that music out there. So, Doug, we'll talk again at some point. I'm sure we'll have you back on, and we'll talk some more. And but until then, you take care of yourself. All right, and God bless you.
You too, Paul. God bless you.
All right, Doug. Bye-bye.